No, bourbon.
Bourbon. Welcome to Curiosity Public. I'm Dutch.
Jules here.
Dylan.
And welcome to another episode of our ultimate spirits competition, our quest to review every sipping spirit on the face of the planet, subjected to our crazy hard 100-point scoring system. And in this episode, we got a brand new bottle. We actually might finally get a review out for something new. Like in time for it to still be new.
Wait.
relevant?
We're recording it, but this can still come out like in 2023.
I'll rush this one.
Sure.
So we got our new look and everything, so there's probably going to be some episodes that come out after this that still are like old style. But whatever, who cares?
Okay.
Anyway, so this is the latest from Maker's Mark. This is their FAE-01. I mean, I love the fact that they're doing special releases. I absolutely hate the naming process of this because I can't keep numbers and letters straight like this. It was like PR5, XP5 last time, and like RC17 the
Good
first
job.
time.
What are you talking about? You memorized all of them.
No, those were completely wrong, I guarantee you.
PR5's right, I feel.
But yeah, FAE-01, this is the first 2021 limited release. They're going to do 2 or more this year. As you can see there, it is a fruit-forward experience with notes of tobacco and wood. Proof point 110.6, 55.3%, 10 virgin toasted American oak staves. On the back, they've kind of got the whole description of what they were going for with this one to celebrate the non-chill filtration process. They retained more of the fatty acid esters in the bourbon that results in a bigger fruit punch and viscosity. Not fruit punch, but a bigger punch of fruit. And I also remember reading some of the stuff they wanted to try to capture, like the experience of walking into the distillery, like the aromas you get.
You know, it really, when I heard that, it reminded me of the Macallan releases, like the special editions. Like they wanted to capture some
Certain specific things.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I love the fact that Makers is doing special releases. I mean, for the longest time, they didn't do anything like that, but they're doing it now. So you got anything else for us?
Yeah, I'm always like blown away why Dutch gets confused because they only had like 2 special releases.
It's too many.
It's like RC6 and, you know, it's pre-C. That's why I say pre-C. Anyway, so this is the one with the limited release.
Chester A. Arthur?
Chester A. Arthur Elementary School.
Name the
One movie. All right. This is the 2021 limited release, one of 2. The American oak staves that were seared on one side and raw on the other. Okay, so that's how they brought this one.
The distinction.
Forward. So, you know, this is becoming like an annual ritual, and I actually like it.
They're doing 2 this year.
Yeah.
And so they actually point out on the back of this bottle that this is FAE-01. FAE-02 is going to be more texture focused. So it's going to be a different...
Is it going to be like grainy?
I don't know.
So,
they're going to just put sand in the bottle.
What's really interesting is that in the last couple of years, you know, they've been releasing these like special kind of batches where someone will say like sugar cookie, and it's like
Never tastes like that.
And yeah, but you know that's what they're writing. It's like this is the sugar cookie release, right? Private select. You know, they'll do stuff like that. They never did that before, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so
It's interesting. I mean, I got to say that of all the special releases coming out, I mean, I have absolutely loved the Makers. I mean, RC6 is gone down as one of my all-time favorite bourbons ever.
right.
The last one, the PR5, whatever it is, I also thought was excellent. And actually, for our members, at the end of this episode, we're going to do a quick head-to-head between this one and last year's release, which was that SE4 PR5, to kind of give some tasting notes and a head-to-head. Again, that's for members only. We offer exclusive videos for members. You can hit that join button down below if that sounds interesting to you. All right, let's get tasting on this one, though, guys. Yeah, I'm curious if you guys have the same experience I had when I first tasted this.
The irony is that I think I got this bottle before you, and I never ended up opening it. I never opened it. I have such a backlog.
Speaking of logs, it's not going to pick up on these microphones.
Watch it, Will.
The enhanced audio. it's a really interesting nose. I can't tell if I like it or not, though. Mm-hmm. I just think it's interesting.
This is a tough one, actually.
I had a really hard time with this one. I'm having a hard time with it now.
This is
How much did we pay for this?
48-ish. It's between 45 and 55. You'll find it.
So it's not that far off.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a score. I want to talk through this one. This is one I'm not feeling particularly.
This one's
sure
a tough
about.
one.
Yeah. And I tried this the other night for the first time, and I struggled with it then too. Mm-hmm. All right, so we've had some time to taste. We've all scored it. We haven't discussed it yet. We're going to discuss it right now, but before we do that, Jules is going to take you through our scoring system.
So we do have a 100-point grading system across 10 categories that include aroma, flavor, body, complexity, balance, finish, uniqueness, drinkability, aesthetics, and value. Now, in our scoring competition, we do weigh flavor more at 20 points and aesthetics and value at half than the usual at 5 points each. And you do get a medal if you score 60 and up. So you get a bronze, silver, gold, up to diamond.
Right, and this may be one of the first videos we release with this new format.
Yeah.
Things are different now. We're not just doing like the highlights reel. We're going to actually take you through our scoring of every single category. Right. And we're going to kick things off with aroma. But actually, before that, let's reveal our initial scores because we may change them as we argue. I gave this a 74.
72.
I give it a 72.
All right, so we're all very, very, very close here. Okay, I mentioned this a few times as I was tasting. Like, I had a hard time with this. But at the same time, I kind of got what they were going for. I think I just didn't really like that, though.
Yeah.
Did you guys have that same experience?
Yeah, it wasn't...
It's not that I didn't like it. I just thought it was, it wasn't amazing.
You know what's weird? This is not a release for the palate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad, but I felt like the focus was not really the palate.
Well, I would say it's kind of academic.
Well...
But it's not... But it just kind of misses the mark from a flavor perspective for me, from the experience. I don't know. There was something...
we might have to kind of revisit this because maybe as a pair, it works.
Well,
maybe it's like epoxy.
We're gonna do a head-to-head for our members after this, so we'll see. Maybe that will reveal some interesting things. But let's kick off this discussion with the aroma. I gave it pretty high marks, actually. I give it an 8 because I thought there was a lot going on here. But I got this weird musty kind of thing that really did remind me of walking into a bourbon distillery. I just didn't necessarily love the way it hit my palate, my nose.
Yeah.
No, I give it a 7. And
I gave it a 7.
Yeah, and it was exactly, I think, what they were trying to go for.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's exactly like if I walked into
it smells like fermenting grain.
Right. So, and I get it, but the reason I kept it at that 7 is because it didn't do anything more beyond that.
Yeah, I kind of gave it a little bit more for you. I added almost like a uniqueness bonus for this on the aroma because it really is interesting.
I mean, it achieved it, but it's one of those.
It's not off-putting.
You're not getting highlights, though.
Yeah, it's weird.
You know what it is? The best way I can describe this, there's like a raw component,
yes,
but it's not like something that's edible. It's one of those things like it's the environment.
I know what you're talking about. I've got a good analogy when we get to flavor for what I think it is.
It's like it's not the stuff that goes into the bottle. It's more of the structure around it. And so but the problem was that the raw kind of component really buried all of the bright fruits and flavors that you normally would see. That's not necessarily bad, but it was just not interesting enough. Right.
The thing is, it's the things that are highlighted on the nose are not like the good parts. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it kind of it's like if I'm walking through an old doorway and I'm like, oh, this is an old door, and I kind of smell the door, and I'm like, but it has nothing to do with what I'm gonna taste, and it's not particularly interesting. So
why a door? Why a spoon?
It's like a mahogany door or something, like a mahogany.
Okay, guys, let's move on to flavor. Out of 20, I gave it 16.
I give it a 16.
Wow. I give it a 17.
Okay. There's a grainy, yeasty thing going on here. And the weirdest thing is, Maker's Mark is a wheated bourbon, right? There's no rye in this, but when I tasted this, it tastes like a young rye mash bill bourbon.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
some of the younger MGP stuff,
Yeah.
there's like a core to this that
spice
tastes just
component.
like that.
I agree. That's the thing. This was like, what? Did I get the wrong one?
Yeah, it's like it doesn't taste like a weeder.
Yeah.
No.
It's weird. The question I have for you though is it the frunk? I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
No,
I
no.
don't think it's the frunk.
It's very different.
No.
It's different.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like that unbaked bread, yeasty kind of like weird maltiness.
Do you?
It's that smell you get when you're actually at like a, like a baking processing plant.
No,
You know
no.
what I mean? Like a factory.
What I was thinking is,
Wonder
I
Bread
just
factory.
walked into Home Depot, and the wood,
lumber
like the
section.
lumber
Which
section,
dude? Come
yeah, and I'm just basically like, right, and I like,
Did you snort
You went
coke?
down the line of a 2x4 or something?
like
no, but
Tony
yeah,
Montana?
that's kind of my feeling. It's definitely not a weeder flavor profile.
It's really weird.
I think maybe it's the raw side
raw
of
side.
the oak. Maybe that's the flavor that we're getting.
Yeah, it's weird. That's all I can say. All right, guys, moving on to body. I gave it a 7.
7.
I gave it a 7.
Look at that. We all agree. It's not bad. It's not amazing. It's better than average. It's pretty good. It's just
Definitely better than
yeah,
average.
definitely better than average. I mean, it's
Review. Better than average.
better than average, no question. But I don't have a lot to say about it.
Yeah,
and that's why I
it.
stuck it
That's
at 7.
why.
It's all right. It's
Yeah.
all right.
Okay, moving on to complexity. There's a lot going on here. Again, it's not particularly enjoyable. I give it an 8.
I give it an 8.
I give it a 7.
I gave it an 8. I gave it an 8. Why 7?
Because I think it only focused on a lot of the the sugar elements. You know, I was really stuck in like the peanut brittle realm.
I didn't get any of that, dude. Did you sure it wasn't the Reese's Pieces you were eating?
Maybe.
I thought
No, but honestly, like there is like, and that's it though. But and don't get me wrong, I was also getting some of the spice. Like I was getting a syrupy kind of.
There's a spiciness.
component, like-
there's a mustiness. There's that yeasty kind of malty thing. There's that
Yeah, it's like I'm
sweetness
at a
coming
bakery.
through. I mean,
Yeah, like a peanut brittle.
I started at a 6 and then kind of went back and forth between 7, 8, 6. And the reason why I ended up at 8 was because this gave me something that a regular weeder, or specifically weeder from makers,
Wouldn't give you.
Yeah, it's just it's very different. And so I thought that it brought something in addition to what I normally get, and that's why I bumped up the score.
yeah, I agree. All right, what do we want? Balance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, balance. I mean, same exact reaction as I had to body. I give it a 7.
I give it a 7.
I give it a 6.
I give it a 6.
see that. I
And
can
I'm
see
close
that.
to that.
Sweet
see that.
realm only. It wasn't that balanced to me.
It's just
Yeah.
the thing. Like,
And-
it goes back to what I said about the flavors. Like the things they highlighted with this
Yeah.
weren't the good things about it.
It's like the mahogany door to the vat.
I don't understand this door analogy. Do you?
I'm still stuck in the snorting down the line at Home Depot.
All right,
Wow.
guys. Let's move on to the finish. Again, same thing. 7. It just kind of was okay, not bad, didn't blow me away.
So I give it an 8, and I think this is where it actually shines the most.
It's not a
compared
bad
to the other
finish.
things, is the finish. But anyway, I'll let you keep.
I gave it a 6.
Oh wow.
I gave it a 6.
No, like here's where
can-
like
I
its
understand all
expressions,
three of these
its
scores.
expressions were coming out. I thought, because at the end I was even getting like a tobacco hit, so I was getting some of that, which was interesting. It was so different, and then I was getting like cacao and and the sweetness evolved finally, and a lot of the spice components is for me what really shined with this release is the finish.
For me, it's a weird bitterness at the end, and even though you brought a tobacco, I mean, like I enjoy cigars. Okay, I know lots of different types of cigars.
That's an understatement.
So
Yeah.
So it's not
Like
like
injects.
it's not like I don't know tobacco or I don't know the bitterness flavor profile, but this was not as great as I would like, and that's kind of why I'm at a 6. It's just
I understand all these scores. I think that's why I ended up in
Yeah.
the middle of a 7. So
yeah.
let's move on to uniqueness. Despite all this is a very unique experience. I give it an 8.
I give it a 7.
I give it a 7.
I've never tasted a weeder quite like this. There's some young weeders, but they have that overwhelming frunk thing. This didn't have that. This had something I've really, like I said, I've never really pulled these flavors out of a weeder. So I did give it a little extra for that.
That's fair. No, I mean, I gave it a 7 only because I think it's right in the middle of that where there's enough things happening, but this is not enough to like make me that interested.
So wouldn't right in the middle be a 5?
No, for us, it's a 7 in terms of, I mean, it's beyond, you know, it's above the norm.
English.
Wrong.
No, this is math.
Dylan, what'd you give it?
What are we on?
Uniqueness. But
I gave it a 7. I gave it a 7. Essentially, like I said,
so you have the same score, even though you called me wrong.
Even though, look, I get that this is like
your explanation.
I get that this is a limited release.
But that's why it's not.
Man,
it's
I'm
not
just
like
not
that.
like.
I'm giving it the 2 points.
Yeah,
for the
I don't know, man.
You guys gave it the same score.
I know.
Yeah.
We're arguing the most. We're arguing the most.
Yeah, I mean, like the weird bitterness and stuff like that is certainly unique.
It's unique.
It is an
But it's not enough to
experience.
get high marks. is my point.
I am still walking through that mahogany door.
All right, well, let's move on to drinkability. I actually didn't love it. I gave it a 6.
I give it a 7.
I gave it a 7.
Yeah, I'll keep drinking it to tease it out.
I thought it was all right. I thought it was all right.
The more I drank it, the
not
more
turned
I just
off
got
by
that
it.
mustiness, that kind of...
But it's enough to turn you off by it?
6 is not turned off.
That's true. 6 is not.
6 is
turned
not.
off.
It's
You're
just,
just not
it's better than average. There's stuff here, right? I just didn't enjoy what was here necessarily. So.
All right, you convinced me. I'm going down to 6.
All right, guys. Aesthetics. I generally like this bottle, but maybe it's just feeling a little bit old because Maker's 46, Maker's 46 cask. Now the limited releases, the private selects, they're all using the exact same bottle. It's not a bad bottle. It just doesn't stand out that much. I stayed at a 3.
I say a 3 too, and that's not not trying to knock it at all. It's just it stayed
Better
what
than
it
average.
is. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I think I gave it a 4, but I think
I think you're coming down.
Yeah, you convinced me. Yeah, I'll give it a 3.
and finally, value. In general, here I felt like, look, you're getting 110 proof, almost 111 proof wheated bourbon at around $50. That's a 4 for me. I mean, the other releases that I like a lot better than this, I'd give a 5 easily. This one, this is somebody's jam, and the price is not crazy, and it is a special release. And in the world of bourbon, that gets bonus points for me, so no question.
Yeah,
4.
and that's why I gave it a fair score at 3.
I agree with you. I gave it a 3.
Where else
Because
are
I'm
you
going to go for the PR5.
That doesn't exist anymore. But as a release,
I'm
as
not
a
getting that.
special
But
release bourbon.
I am not getting
Doesn't
that.
matter.
I'm getting the regular cask strength.
Ooh.
I'm getting that for $45 at Costco. I'm also getting the private
I'm also
select.
saving $10 by going
I'm
for
also
the 46.
getting the sugar cookie. I'm also getting the barrel select. That's much higher in proof.
Yeah, I'm only getting this
getting
just to
all of
complete
those.
You convinced me. You convinced me. I came down a point.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Wow. Good discussion, guys. Let's get our final scores. I ended up at a 73.
72.
I gave it a 70.
For our official Curiosity Public score, Curiosity Public Ultimate Spirits Competition score. Sorry, I'm trying to do like 3
Makers,
things at once. I'm
FAE-01.
watching the camera. I'm doing math. I'm typing in my calculator.
I don't understand. There's only 2 of them.
There's too many of them. Our official score, 71. Yeah, 71.6. But of course, we do round down. So a
Still got a silver.
low silver. I Makers did not hit the mark with this one, unfortunately.
And that's still a silver? I
No,
don't know
it
about
hit the
that.
mark. It's a silver.
It's still a good dram, but compared to the other releases, this is not
It's on the weaker
nearly
side.
as good.
I
It's on the
think
weaker
I think
side.
it's a silver in the kind of the it's an academic release.
I agree.
This
I
is
agree.
definitely not for just
for
kind of
everybody.
casual drinker. If you're looking for something that you want to drink every day,
Not this.
don't do this.
Yeah.
If you are a nerd like us and you want to,
You'll pick it up.
You'll grab it.
You'll pick it up.
Yeah, but you won't get a backup.
Yeah.
But with the other ones, I'm getting backups. So
I
far.
I have an unopened one, so I'll bring it down.
All right, guys. That's it. Jules, take us out.
Tell us what you guys think in the comments below. Give us a thumbs up if you like this episode. Subscribe for more videos from Curiosity Public. Check out our podcast on all the major podcast platforms out there. As always, stay safe, stay healthy.
Stay curious. So this is I remember this being way better, the PR5.
Yep, let's go
Me
for it.
too.
I mean, that's
I think we
vanilla, though,
scored
right?
it higher.
Well, yeah, this was a high scoring one.
Oh, was
So it'll be interesting to
I guess
see.
not.
Again, only for members, right?
Not on our board. Yeah.
I got glasses.
No, we already got glasses. Good job, Dylan.
Good job, Dylan.
You just like leaving the set.
It's right there.
The red one.
Remember, I'm red, green, color.
It just looked like another
Like
glass.
clear.
Why'd you give me another green glass? Okay, here we go.